What's happening, guys? This is Billy from Movie Cricket and welcome to our Guardians of the Galaxy special podcast on the 7th of August. Guardians of the Galaxy roared into cinemas on Thursday in the UK last week. It smashed box office records and we absolutely love the film. So we thought we'd dedicate a podcast today to James Gunn's movie. To start off with a mini review of the film. The latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to us, is by far the best film the studio has produced so far. James Gunn has delivered a witty, unique and genuinely charming movie with a great soundtrack and sweet and unique characters. The love and sincerity that has gone into Guardians of the Galaxy comes across on the screen with a wonderfully cast group of characters and a director that is so clearly passionate about the work he's produced. Guardians of the Galaxy also taught me that green women can be pretty attractive and that raccoons and trees can provide more laughs and heartwarming moments than the majority of Hollywood stars out there. James Gunn has absolutely nailed it with Guardians of the Galaxy. It also shows that the older Marvel movies seem a little bit one-dimensional once you've seen the film. You'll question how the studio have managed to make so many films using the same old format that Guardians is so unique from. Guardians of the Galaxy is as close to a 10 out of 10 as you can get, but the end credit scene, to me, totally sucked. Slight spoiler alert for those listening, but who the hell is Howard the Duck? I understand that he was a former Marvel character and the lawsuits between Donald the Duck and Disney are kind of a wink and a nod, but the film's so full of Easter eggs I just didn't think that Howard the Duck fitted. I could be wrong, but to me it just didn't work. Otherwise, the humour is absolutely perfect, the music is completely iconic, and the series of standout performances from Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, and Michael Rooker in particular make this film instantly quotable and ingeniously lovable. A heartwarming and gut-bustingly funny film that is great for all the family. It's eccentric, it's unique, and it revitalises a superhero genre that was running a little bit thin on format. So let's talk a little bit about the music in Marvel's latest film. The music is a huge part to Guardians of the Galaxy. It gives it so much personality and an identity that you connect with. James Gunn has said that Dave Jordan got the rights to every single song that he asked for Guardians of the Galaxy. Every song that was in the screenplay ended up in the final cut of the film. James Gunn explained how Star-Lord's cassette tape was his only connection to his mother and Earth, and it became important to honour that in the film. He liked the idea of these familiar 70s pop songs contrasting with the strangeness of other worlds, so he downloaded 500 different 70s pop hits, every song from the top 40s you can think of, and he listened to them all until he whittled them down to 100 songs, then 20, and he would listen to that list all the time. Songs like Hooked on a Feeling and Fool Around the World in Love are definitely going to go on to become this movie's soundtrack, and they'll be known for years to come. James Gunn is right about the contrast that the music gives the film. Set in deep space, with monsters that we've never seen, alien races, incredible modern CGI, and then the backdrop is set against these 70s pop songs, these ballad anthems that give the film an incredible personality. We're glad to see that this success is being mirrored in the box office. Guardians of the Galaxy has opened up to become the highest grossing film the month of August has ever seen. James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy has surprised a lot of people. A film that was kind of considered a risk before it started, kind of seems like the best choice Marvel ever made right now. The film opened last weekend at an international gross of $160 million at the worldwide box office, $94 million of that coming from the United States alone. Guardians of the Galaxy is Marvel's latest release with no previous sequels or existing characters. And yet, over 4,080 theatres worldwide, Guardians of the Galaxy took a staggering 23,000 from each location. From a production cost of $170 million, Guardians of the Galaxy by now will be well into the realms of making serious profit. As news spreads of just how good Guardians of the Galaxy is, we expect to see James Gunn's film pass the $1 billion mark by the end of the summer. The film surpassed For the Dark World in its opening weekend with ease, and only fell just short of Captain America the Winter Soldier. Not bad for a new franchise. Guardians has only finished $1 million shy of Captain America 2's international opening, which is pretty impressive for a brand new title. Interesting, recently, James Gunn made a thank you message via his Facebook page. The director felt it necessary to thank fans for giving Guardians of the Galaxy such a huge opening weekend. James Gunn said, "Thanks to all of you who saw and are seeing Guardians of the Galaxy this weekend. From the bottom of my heart, the Guardians are a group of oddballs, outcasts and geeks. The movie is for anyone who ever felt cast aside, left out or different. It's for all of us who don't belong. This movie belongs to you, and today I think we're doing okay. I am happy, of course, with the film has accomplished in the box office. But what touched me the most is that the film I told the folks at Marvel I wanted to make 2 years ago is the film that you're seeing in theatres today. It's that so many of you seem to be directly experiencing the film that I intended. The cast, the producers, the crew, and I felt like we were making something special while we were making it. But it's very rare that a director's intentions in creating a film, or any scene or character, or a line of dialogue are seemingly specifically what is experienced by an audience, not to mention the critics. And that seems to be what's happened here. You have allowed a talking raccoon for a moment, a minute, or a day to make you a little more human, and for that I am profoundly grateful." James Gunn went on to talk much more about his thanks for Guardians of the Galaxy's fans, and it was a very heartfelt message. So, moving on to some news which concerns Guardians of the Galaxy recently. In the run-up to the film, a rumoured cameo appearance from Nathan Fillion as Nova began to circulate. Richard Rider, better known as Nova, of course did not turn up in the film. Nathan Fillion instead turned up as a monstrous inmate during the scenes where the Guardians first enter the space prison. It's unlikely the actor will return as Nova in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, though we cannot rule it out at this stage. The film is still 3 years away. But what we can discuss is the likelihood that Nova will be involved in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. If there's one thing we can observe from the growing superhero genre, it is a subsequent sequel must include an expanding squad of heroes. Look at X-Men Days of Future Past or the Avengers for proof of that formula. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will be no different. James Gunn has firstly revealed that there will be at least one more character from the comics to join the Guardians. E-Online asked James Gunn over Twitter, "We don't want anyone to take you out, James Gunn, but wants to know any hint about any new characters in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. James Gunn happily replied, "I love so many. Can't give it away, but there should be at least one more Guardian from the comics." So, we are due at least one more comic character in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Notable cosmic characters from the realms of Guardians comics include the likes of Adam Warlock and Nova. These are the two lead candidates which we believe will join the sequel in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. In the current run of comics, Iron Man and Captain Marvel have joined the Guardians in Deep Space Adventures. Iron Man is highly unlikely to join the Guardians of the Galaxy in the sequel, though Captain Marvel could potentially fit in with Kevin Feige's announced plans of a late introduction of a strong female superhero in Avengers Age of Ultron. Adam Warlock has been teased in the past with his cocoon appearing in Thor: The Dark World for a fleeting moment. However, with the prominence of the Nova Corp in Guardians of the Galaxy, it is very likely that Nova will be introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, if not both characters. Furthermore, Marvel chief Kevin Feige has been dropping plenty of hints while running the press for Guardians of the Galaxy. When asked about Nova, he revealed the character was actually incorporated in an early version of James Gunn's script, before eventually being cut. A very interesting development which suggests Nova is definitely projected to be involved in the cinematic universe at some point. The Guardians have saved Nova Corp in the first film. Perhaps it will be Nova Corp's turn to return the favour in a sequel by providing Nova as a helping hand. At the San Diego Comic-Con, Kevin Feige was further pushed about the future of a standalone film for other characters in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Again using Nova as an example, Kevin Feige had this to say, "I think, if Guardians works the way we certainly hope it works, that will probably be the franchise to meet a lot of those people. That would be our entrance into numerous other cosmic folk. If we spin any of those out into individual movies, that's a question for down the line. I think we would see a lot of those characters in a future Guardians movie." With the film performing better than expected, we now expect to see Nova turn up in the Guardians sequel. With all these bits and pieces coming together, it seems relatively clear that Nova will be introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is great news. The sequel will undoubtedly introduce some new characters into the mix who would truly not fit in a more serious, earthbound, Avengers-type method. Nova has already been part of the script developments, meaning his presence is already anticipated in this new established universe. His name is at the top of the characters to be introduced in this case, ready to throw down with Star-Lord and the rest of his bit of good, bit of bad bandits. So, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is officially opening on July the 28th, 2017, and we already cannot wait to see more. So, moving on to other movie news this week, there's been a few big production wraps. So far this week alone, we've seen 3 summer blockbusters come to the end of a physical production ahead of their big releases next year. First off, Colin Trevorrow's posted picture on Twitter of a Tyrannosaurus saw the end of shooting for Jurassic World. Then Arnold Schwarzenegger announced the new title of Alan Taylor's Terminator movie to celebrate the end of principal photography, which incidentally received more attention than the production wrap itself. For those of you who missed this, the film is now titled Terminator Genisys. Now, without the spelling, that isn't that big a deal, but this is no joke. The spelling of Terminator Genisys is Genisys. We don't know why. There is no point asking. The new Terminator film is officially titled Terminator Genisys. The film is well into production and sees the return of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800. Emilia Clarke will star as Sarah Connor, with Jason Clarke and Jai Courtney playing John Connor and Kyle Reese. Alan Taylor is directing the latest instalment in the Terminator franchise, though the person responsible for naming the film Genisys is currently unknown. And now Joss Whedon has taken to his Twitter account to confirm that principal photography for Avengers Age of Ultron has wrapped. The Marvel director posted the picture on Twitter to bring together the end of production. In other news this week, Warner Bros. Have confirmed 10 new DC comic movies all the way up until 2020. Over the next 6 years, we can expect to see no less than 10 DC comic movies from Warner Bros. And the studio releasing their film schedule up until November 2020. This will include Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, which has been moved forward to March the 26th to avoid a clash with Marvel's Captain America 3 on May the 6th, 2016. Warner Bros. Have unveiled 9 other releases which we can expect to see from DC movies. There are also 2 dates within the scheduled release which we expect to see Harry Potter spin-offs fill. Warner Bros. Have followed the promotional methods developed by Disney and Marvel by pre-releasing their film schedule, even though the titles filling the slots have not been announced just yet. Warner Bros. Have unveiled 11 release dates leading up to November 2020, with 9 slots being put aside for DC comic movies and 2 slots most likely being reserved for Harry Potter spin-offs. Warner Bros. Have not specified what the films will be that will fill the slots, but we can take our best educated guesses. To specify, the dates are confirmed, but the films are not. So the following list is what we expect to see and the specific release dates which Warner Bros. Have announced earlier today. On the 25th of March 2016, we will of course get Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Later that year, on the 5th of August 2016, we expect to see a Shazam movie. Dwayne Johnson has already confirmed that he will be starring in a DC production with Warner Bros. And Shazam seems to be the one that The Rock is going to play. We're stoked about that. Then moving forward to the year later, on the 23rd of June 2017, we expect to finally be introduced to our Justice League film. This will star Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, potentially Cyborg, potentially Aquaman, but almost certainly Shazam. This will be the first massive ensemble movie which will rival Marvel's The Avengers. This is on 23rd of June, which is smack bang in the summer blockbuster period. Later that year, on the 17th of November 2017, we're expecting the muted Sandman movie. Now, I don't know much about Sandman, so I can't fill you in much further on that. Potentially people could write in and tell us more about what they expect to see from a Sandman film. That would be great. On the 23rd of March 2018, we're going to get a Wonder Woman film, we think. On the 27th of July 2018, we're expecting to see potentially a Man of Steel sequel, a direct one from the first. Now, The Flash and Green Lantern have been mooted before to star in a team-up movie together with a DC and Warner Brothers label. This could come on the 5th of April 2019, before later that year, on the 14th of June 2019, we expect to see the first Warner Brothers and DC Comics Batman movie starring Ben Affleck. We have been leaked before that Batman is going to get a solo film with Ben Affleck starring, so that will potentially come in 2019. On the 3rd of April 2020, it could be a Shazam 2 movie, it could be anything, we don't know. On the 19th of June 2020, we expect this to round off with the summer blockbuster of a Justice League 2. So this is 9 unannounced titles up until 2020. This projection reveals that DC Comics and Warner Brothers are aiming to release 2 comic book movies a year up until 2020. We've seen previously Warner Brothers are apparently planning movies for Sandman, Batman, a Man of Steel sequel, and even a team-up movie with Green Lantern and The Flash. The movies specified above are of course not confirmed by Warner Brothers, but this is our personal educated guess for what will fill the slots. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so do write in to us, leave comments on the YouTube video, let us know what you think. What stars could fill these films? Who could be involved? What characters and superheroes would you like to see take these empty slots? Definitely write in and let us know. Warner Brothers also confirmed 2 dates which we expect to be filled by Harry Potter spin-offs, the first of which will be Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This will actually land in 2016 in November, before a Quidditch movie and a later trilogy completed. Warner Brothers have revealed 2 further slots titled Untitled Warner Brothers Event Films on November the 16th, 2018 and November the 20th, 2020. We expect this to fill a much larger Warner Brothers Harry Potter trilogy universe. So that just about wraps up this week's podcast. If you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet, I seriously encourage you to do so. A lot of our colleagues are put off by the current trends in the superhero genre, the comic book genre. I can't stress enough how much Guardians of the Galaxy ages the older films. It's so fresh and unique, it's barely even a superhero film. If you like your comedy, if you like your romance, if you like your sci-fi, Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely for you. It's much more like an Indiana Jones goes into the Star Wars universe and Marvel just provide an incredibly pleasing visual effect. It really is a spectacular film and it's going to do so well in the box office. Like we said before, it is so likely to reach the $1 million mark by the end of the summer. Its projections certainly show no sign of it slowing down. So please check Guardians of the Galaxy out and let us know what you thought. You can check out our other videos. The full video review is on the website and on YouTube. The full articles are of course on the website, so check them out, let us know what you thought. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, pass the word of our podcast, we would really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by guys and see you next week. Laters.